Ford Focus 2012 through 2018, 2-liter Duratec naturally aspirated engine, catalytic converter removal. This is going to be the easy way to do it. You do not have to go underneath and pull the subframe. You can pull it out through the top. Let me show you how. No, you do not have to pull the hood off. I just did that for another reason. I'm putting a 2-liter EcoBoost in this car here. But to get on with the point here, let's get this cat out. Okay. First thing I'm going to do here is get these 10mm bolts off, holding the shield onto the catalytic converter. There's also 2 more on the bottom I'll show you. Okay, right in the center of the camera there. You see that little rusty bolt? And then right over here as well. You see it's holding that little harness retainer bracket on there. Get all 4 of those bolts off, 10mm. I highly recommend using a 6-point socket right here, like this, and not a 12-point like this. A 6-point is far less likely to strip out the bolt if it's rusty. And on to the 4th one here. And there's the 4th one. Now let's focus our attention to the upstream oxygen sensor here. This is the wire that goes to it. There's a better view of it there. You want to follow that wire up. Follow it up to right here and disconnect it. Here's kind of a better view of it there. You can see it through the hose. You push down on that lever there. You'll have to pop it off of this bracket here in order to get access to that lever. Push down on it with your thumb and then pull back on the connector. There you go. Now you can get your shield out. I'm going to pull the connector off underneath the shield. I'm going to pull the shield up. There you go. Next thing you're going to want to do here is get the cowl off of here. So first thing you do here, these little rubber caps off both wiper arms. Take these nuts off of both of them. Should be a 15mm nut. Oh, that actually got them loose. It's a little washer that goes under the nut. There you go. If you want to, you can squirt a little bit of penetrating oil down inside of there. Next, I'm going to go ahead and work these wiper arms off of here. The passenger side wiper goes beneath the driver's side. Just remember that when you go back together. And now for number 2. This one's kind of stuck on here, so let me show you a little trick. I've got an 18mm socket and a hammer. I'm just going to lightly tap the wiper on. Goodness. There we go. Next, I've got me a little prying tool. I'm going to come across the front of the cowl here and pry up on these push pin retainers. Get underneath the top layer of them like that. Just like that. Work them up like that. Go underneath the bottom and go up like that. Repeat on this one, that one, and that one. Right there. There they are. Next, I have a Torx 30 socket here. Torx 30. There's 2 screws on the cowl. You need to take off with that. Get those out of here. I should be able to pull the upper part of the cowl up. There we go. Use care. Don't push down really hard right here, because if this detaches off the bottom of the windshield here, the cowl can sink down and let water in. And if you have the DPS6 dual clutch automatic transmission, water can get down in there and rust the clutch forks. So you don't want that. And I'll show you more about what I'm talking about here in just a moment, once I get this portion of the cowl taken off of the windshield. There we go. Easy peasy. All right, so this is the portion of the windshield I was talking about that holds the cowl up. If this detaches off the windshield, that can let water get down in here. But anyway, next there's a 10mm bolt here, and on the opposite side in the same spot. Let me show you. Take those 2 10mm bolts off. goes in like that. Now we have the much needed access for some of the other hardware. Okay. Uh-oh, I've got some mouse damage on the injector coil wires here. Next, might as well come and disconnect the downstream sensor, oxygen sensor here. That's what this wire is here. See how it kind of travels down to the back there? You can see the rear O2. That's what this black wire is here. Pop it out of its retainer here and disconnect it right here. There's a release right here that you push down on and pull out. There we go. Next, I'm going to go ahead and grab a 15 millimeter socket, a 10 millimeter socket, and a nice long purdy ratchet. And I'm going to go in the land down under. All right, apologize for the lighting here, but this is the passenger side axle, just for a frame of reference. Here's the catalytic converter. You need to remove these two 10 millimeter bolts on the other side of this bracket here. Excuse me, underside of this bracket here. And that'll separate the catalytic converter from this bracket. Grab yourself an extension too. These bolts are tight because of the rust. All right, boys, once those two bolts are taken out, I'm going to go ahead and come back here. All right, a little bit better lighting here. There's the end of the flex pipe on the catalytic converter pipe there. And if you look here, there's this retainer here that the fingers on the catalytic converter that I'm touching slide into. There's a 10 millimeter bolt there and a 10 millimeter bolt right here. You need to remove both of those 10 millimeter bolts. That's how I'm getting them out. I got the extension in. All right, with those two 10 millimeter bolts removed, holding this stupid rubber thing onto the subframe, you're going to want to come up. All right, you see the exhaust nut right there? I'm pointing at it. There's one right there and one on the opposite side of the flange. My finger is currently touching it. All right, there it is on the opposite side right there. Take those two 15 millimeter nuts off right there and right there. You're going to want to put some PB Blaster or penetrating oil on those nuts. Get some good leverage. Might need some heat to get them to break loose, but just be patient with it. I just had to step away for a moment. I busted my lip trying to break those nuts loose. But I do want to add, while you're down there, once everything's loose and the cat's ready to come out of there, it helps having somebody underneath the car pushing up on the end of the cat, because those two metal fingers that I was talking about are going to get caught on the shield for the steering gear. So that needs to be lifted up in the back, brought above the steering gear, and then you'll be able to slide the cat on out of the top. We'll get to that in just a second. I will show you guys what I had to resort to on the bottom down there in just a moment. Some of you may know what this is. So you sneak peek on what you're about to see down there. All right, basically what I'm going to do now is take all the nuts off that are holding the exhaust manifold to the cylinder head. One right here on my pinky, one down here, you can sort of see. One right here, one right here, one right in the middle of the camera. Certain year model Focuses have a bolt down in the middle here that you take out as well, but not this one apparently. This is a 2012. You'll need a small extension for some of these nuts. By the way, they're 15 millimeter. All right, there's the first nut. Third one. Next one. Last one. All right, see if it's loose. Next thing I'm going to do here with a block of wood, I'm going to sit it on the head of a floor jack, push it underneath, jack up on the oil pan of the engine. Let me show you. Right now it's just supporting the oil pan, just minimal pressure. There we go. Basically I'm just getting the weight off of this engine mount. And next I'm going to go ahead and take that bolt right there off, 15 millimeter. And that bolt right there, 15 millimeter. Kind of take the, unbolt the engine mount from the frame rail. That way I can pull the engine forward with one hand, and with the other hand, pull this on out of here. Kind of like if you're replacing the engine mount, pretty much here. There we go. Oh my goodness. Now there's the other one back here. Okay. Now I'm going to jack up the engine until I see the bracket of this engine mount here. Oh my goodness, that engine mount's worn out. To where it's not touching the frame rail anymore. Just raise it up that much. There we go. Now you should be able to grab the engine and pull it back. Oh my goodness. All right, stop. This is the point where you want to get your buddy, if you have one, underneath the car and lift up on the rear of the catalytic converter where you unbolted it from the cat back, and have him raise it up so that it doesn't get caught on the steering gear. But I'm doing this myself, so good luck to me. Another point here I want to bring up, take the studs off the back of the cylinder head that holds the exhaust manifold on. That'll help with clearance on passing this through here. Trust me, every little bit helps, and you're going to hit these and rub up against them with this. All right, that wasn't as bad as I thought. I crawled underneath there and just shoved that thing up above the steering gear down there. Now let's see what we can tear up here. Okay. All right, boys, I need to take the studs off on this side of the engine over here because that's what they're catching on. You need an inverted Torx E8 socket for them. Or a 6-point 1/4 inch socket might work on that as well. Do take note, it would help tremendously if you went underneath and took that black bolt out right there. That's the lower transmission mount. That'll allow for more movement in the engine forward. All right, let's see if we can get it out. All right, here it is, boys. It would help taking this off. It's a rubber piece here before you pull it up. Here's the issue I was running into down there. It's all rusty and not wanting to break loose. You guys up north are probably thinking, rusty? This isn't rusty. You haven't seen rust yet. You can still see threads. But they were just rounding off. So here's what I did. I cut the pipe right here. In my particular situation, which is not going to apply to you, since I'm putting in the EcoBoost, I'm going to go, when I go to the junkyard to get the cat pipe off of there, I'm just going to cut further down and splice it together. But in your situation where you're just putting in a new catalytic converter, you can either go to the junkyard and get a section of pipe with a flange on it, or you can go to an exhaust shop when you're done putting the cat on. It's not going to hurt anything if you run it open right here. And it's still going to be a lot cheaper than having them do the cat and all that, so you'll save money still. But I'll be honest, this is the first time this has ever happened to me. Normally these break right loose, but this car is 13 years old now, and you know, it's got a lot of miles on it, and that's bound to happen once in a while. So, all right, guys, that's how you pull the catalytic converter out. I'll show you the back here. There is a layered steel gasket that you're supposed to replace, and see. And there's also a gasket in between here, and all the hardware and studs should be replaced as well. Yeah, it's obvious where they go. See all the threads there? That's where the studs go. You can still see one of them. And there's where the nuts go. All right. Well, I hope this helps one of you guys out there. If you've got the original O2 sensors, good idea to replace those too with Bosch or OEM. O2 sensors get lazy with the signals over time and can cause a check engine light, so it couldn't hurt to do while it's out. There you go. Make sure you leave a thumbs in the upward direction. I've also got a Facebook and Discord group and a whole bunch of other focus videos, and once again, this is part of my series where I'm putting this 2-liter EcoBoost into this Focus, which originally came from the factory with a 2-liter Duratec without the turbo. And I'm going to see if that'll work out for me. Have yourselves a great day. Okay.